Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami, Dutayampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dutayampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Dutayampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami, Tadayampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Tadayampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Tadayampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha. So now get yourself in a comfortable position for meditation. Whether you're sitting on the floor, legs crossed, or on a chair or a couch, standing, lying down, just get yourself nice and calm, comfortable. It's important to be comfortable. And bring your mind initially to your body. So to the tips of your toes, and release the tension in the body. Your toes, the balls of your feet, the arches of your feet and heels, and the top of your feet, and around your ankles and Achilles tendons. As we release the tension from these parts of the body, we help ourselves to release the tension in our mind. Release the tension in your lower legs, your calf muscles, and your shins. And the front, sides, and back of your knees. Your upper leg, the quad muscles at the front, and the hamstrings at the back. Now release the tension from your midsection area, the glute muscles, the back, the hip flexors on the sides, and the groin at the front. Your lower stomach, on and above your hips, and your lower back. Further up your stomach and your sides, and releasing the tension from the center of your back. From your chest area and underneath your arms, and your upper back, the lateral muscles, and the rhomboid muscles that run between the shoulder blades and the spine. And release from your upper trap muscles that run between your neck and shoulders, as well as your shoulders. Your upper arms, biceps and triceps, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. Now bring your attention up to your neck and release the tension from the front, sides, and back of your neck. Up the back of your head and the sides of your head, around your ears and temples. Now release any tension from your face, around your cheekbones and your cheeks. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw, your chin and your mouth, both inside and outside. Resting your tongue at the upper palate, above your top teeth, with your lips gently touching. You release from your nose and sinuses and eye sockets and eyes. And make sure you're not frowning on your forehead. And finally release from the top of your head, from the crown of your head. And now just briefly scan your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers and to the top of your head, just in case there's a little bit more tension that you can release. Now place your mind on your breath, initially at the tip of your nose, and then follow the feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out. As you breathe in, the breath passes your throat. It's quite cool. And as it enters the lungs, they expand. And when you breathe out, the lungs compress as the air leaves. And as it passes your throat, it's quite warm on the way out. Just a few extra details to help you to keep the focus on your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. That's all you have to do right now. Every time some mental agitation, such as thoughts or feelings, arise, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. But also don't try to forcefully push them away or even deny them. Just let them come and go naturally by refocusing on your breath. Don't try too hard. Don't try too little. Don't be hard on yourself. If your mind becomes dull, wake it up ever so slightly by focusing more brightly on your breath. This way, replacing your mind onto your breath is the antidote for both the agitated mind and the dull mind. So now we will practice in silence for a few minutes. So now you can feel very happy with yourself. Fill your mind with universal loving kindness. You are your best friend. And even remember that on the path to enlightenment, enlightenment is in your own mind. So we always need to be very kind to ourselves. This will help us to open our mind more. And as we fill our mind and fill ourselves with loving kindness, we're able to then radiate it outwards. So radiate the universal loving kindness firstly to your family and friends, wishing that they have happiness and the causes of happiness, and that they are free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And really feel that this is happening. The feeling is of utmost importance during this meditation practice. And rejoice in this feeling of loving kindness. And rejoice in the rejoicing. Now extend the loving kindness out further to include strangers, those that you may know a little bit or not at all. Now extend the loving kindness to also include those you find difficult. You could even call them enemies. And wish that all of these people have happiness and are free from suffering. Keep extending this loving kindness out further and further, like a tidal wave. Tidal wave of loving kindness to include all living beings. Those living beings that live on the land, like us, and in the waters that fly through the air. Those that are born from eggs, from wombs, in moisture and through transformation. All those living beings, whether we know about them or not, may they all be happy and free from suffering. Firstly around your area, and then throughout your state, or your county. Extending and radiating this universal loving kindness out further and further to pervade your whole country. And all of those countries you're familiar with, whether directly or indirectly, as well as those countries that you are not familiar with. Until this universal loving kindness pervades the whole planet. May there be peace everywhere. May the planet be pervaded by universal loving kindness and friendship. Now beyond this planet alone, to pervade the whole solar system. And all of the solar systems within this galaxy, as well as all of the galaxies within this universe. Until this universal loving kindness pervades all of infinite space. Immeasurable. It's immeasurable, this loving kindness. Now be present here and now, and we will recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. So, I hope everybody is well, especially after the meditation. But also remember that we practice meditation formally, whether we sit cross-legged or we sit in front of an image of the Buddha or in a peaceful position, peaceful environment. We do this so that we can have this meditative state all the time, whether we're standing, sitting, walking, or lying down, through all of our lives, keeping the mind upright, keeping the mind wholesome. And as we do this, like I say always, it increases the habit of doing so. So the subject at the moment, overview, is the Eightfold Path, and we're specifically talking about the meditation aspect, which is the right effort, the right mindfulness, and the right concentration. Specifically today, it is the right concentration, though the subject that we will cover in detail are the 51 derivative mental factors, which covers all three aspects of the meditation part. So let's just recap from last week. When we practice the effort and the mindfulness, we are doing so to develop one-pointed concentration, a mind that is bright, non-attached, open, flexible, pliant. You know, sometimes, and I mentioned last week, sometimes people think mindfulness is just focusing on something like that. But actually, it's really focusing on, we're using an object, specifically the breath in the breath meditation, to be able to widen the mind so that we don't grasp at things, don't cling to things. And so just to reiterate, the tranquil mind is what we're after. Remember that the past is gone, the present is fleeting, and the future is not yet here. And as we develop this mind, more and more we become more and more calm, more and more clear. Then we enter what we call the 4 jhanas, or mental absorptions, where our mind starts to become more pure as we practice. It's important that if we have really wonderful experiences during our meditation, and as we traverse the path in meditation, as we improve, as our mind becomes more pure, don't cling to anything. Don't attach to anything. Don't get stuck. It's sort of like honey. You know, honey is very sweet, but it's also very sticky. So even the good signs that we are walking the Dharma path correctly and improving ourselves consistently, even some of the signs we get along the way, don't stick to them. They are very sweet. Rejoice in them and then let them go. It's very important. As human beings, we tend to get a little bit of pride sometimes. You know, we get a little bit, we improve a bit and then we think, oh, I'm wonderful now. As soon as we think like that, as soon as we stick to it, we don't improve anymore. In fact, it's a big danger on the meditation path to cling to these good signs. So experience them. Even ask your teachers or do some research on them to find out what they are, and then let them go and continue to do the practice. Although the practice appears to be very simple a lot of the time, actually it's profound. It leads to profoundly deep states of consciousness. So just to recap, as you enter into the first jhana, the first mental absorption, we're detached from sensuality and from unwholesome states, but we still have thoughts and thought processes. And we have our exaltation and well-being engendered by detachment or non-attachment. Then as we enter the second jhana and remain in the second jhana, this is through the stilling of the thoughts and the thought processes. Within a tranquility and a unification of the mind, and now without thoughts and thought processes, with exaltation and well-being engendered by concentration. And then we move on to the third jhana, third absorption. And with the fading away of the exaltation, we remain in equanimity, a mind that is free from bias, mindful and endowed with thorough understanding. We abide in the well-being of one who is equanimous and mindful. And then as we work our way into the fourth jhana and then remain in the fourth jhana, where we've abandoned pleasantness and unpleasantness, gladness and affliction have previously disappeared as well. And without pleasantness or unpleasantness, our mind becomes purified by mindfulness due to and based on this equanimity. Imagine having a mind like that. You know, it's possible for us to achieve this. A mind that perceives everything, but doesn't cling to anything, doesn't get attached to anything, and doesn't have an aversion to things. A lot of our suffering that we experience in our lives can actually be stopped here and now even if we have not attained these states yet, to become aware of them and aware that we are capable of experiencing such states if we put the practices into practice, or the methods into practice correctly and consistently. Then after we have remained in the fourth jhana, we enter into the formless states. The first one is the infinite space, then the infinite consciousness, then the infinite nothingness, and then the mental state beyond perception and non-perception. Totally beyond duality, totally beyond conceptual thinking. But even if we get to this stage, don't cling to it. Don't attach to anything. Don't get stuck. Very important. So now I will get into, I want to thank Mahendra and Nellon for actually, this is their paper here, that they took notes in a Dharma class. I think it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago when I was giving commentary on the Heart Sutra. And then very detailed, actually. I think it took more than 1 year to go through the whole sutra. So, in fact, maybe even a couple of years. So the first, we have 51 derivative mental factors, mental states. This actually can be enumerated differently in different scriptures. In the Abhidharma, it enumerates different numbers, 52, 80, 121, and so forth. But this information I'm giving you now comes from the Abhidhamma Kosha, which means the House of High Knowledge. And it's basically like an expansion or a commentary, you could say, by the Master Vasubandhu, Indian master, who was actually the brother of Master Asanga. So Master Vasubandhu was Theravada monk, but his scriptures are used very much in Mahayana teachings, which to me, once again, proves that Mahayana, Theravada, all of these different schools that have come from these as well, these are all different methods to achieve the same goal. Teachings of the Buddha, not separate. So we have omnipresent states of mind, which are ever-functioning states of mind. We have determining mental factors. We have the root delusions. We have the 20 secondary afflictions or delusions. We have the 11 virtuous or wholesome mental factors called kusala. Kusala means wholesome. And then we have the 4 changeable mental factors. Now, over time, we will go into each one of these in detail. Of course, today we won't do that. I think we have maybe about another 8 or 9 minutes. So I will just read them out to you, just so I don't forget any. Omnipresent means that these mental factors are always present in our mind. They are contact between our senses and the sense objects. It is always present. Conscious engagement or awareness is always present. Feelings, in other words, mental sensations, are always present, whether pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Recognition or perception is always present. Our intention is always present. In fact, the Buddha said the intention is where the karma is created. Good intentions leads to good karma and therefore good results. Bad intentions leads to negative karma and therefore undesirable results. And it is likewise with neutral. We have 5 determining factors. 1, aspiration. Then we have belief. We have mindfulness. We have mental stabilization or concentration. and we have wisdom. And these determine whether things are wholesome, unwholesome, so forth. Then we have the 6 root delusions that are the cause of suffering. Of course, the root cause is the ignorance and the attachment and aversion that comes from that, known as the 3 poisons. Then we can expand this to another 3. So the 6 root delusions are ignorance, or avidya. Just to let you know, vidya means knowing, and avidya means not knowing. We normally translate this into English as ignorance or delusion. Then we have attachment, aversion, pride, doubt and uncertainty, and the wrong views. You know, basing all of our existence on it. Either have an externalism view or eternalism view, a nihilism view. In other words, a view that is extreme, not a middle path view. Then these 6 root delusions give rise to what we know as the 20 secondary afflictions or delusions. And these 26 give rise to all of the mental afflictions. They can be enumerated as about 84,000 or more. I think it'll take us a while if we go into all 84,000. So we'll stick with the root ones. I think it's maybe a little bit easier. It won't do our head in. So these 20 secondary afflictions are vindictiveness, resentment, spite, hypocrisy, jealousy, miserliness, concealment, deceit, haughtiness, harmfulness, a lack of moral shame, a lack of fear of unwholesomeness, lethargy, excitement or mental agitation, faithlessness, laziness, non-conscientiousness, forgetfulness, inattentiveness, and distractedness. Then we have the 11 virtuous or wholesome mental factors. They are faith, moral shame, fear of unwholesomeness, non-attachment, non-hatred, non-ignorance, diligence or effort, pliancy of mind, scrupulous conscientiousness, or what in Australia we have a saying, fair dinkum. So it's an old sort of Australian slang, which means real, true, you know, like that. So there's a little note here, fair dinkumness. So, but for those of you that are overseas, it just means you're real. You know, it's a real thing. So in other words, real conscientiousness, equanimity, non-harmfulness. Then we have the 4 changeable mental factors: sleep, contrition or remorse for wrongdoing, investigation, and analysis. These are changeable because it depends on whether they're done based on wholesome intentions or unwholesome intentions or neutral intentions. So I think maybe what you can do, when I post the video of this class by tomorrow or Monday, I normally get it up there at least by Tuesday, then have another listen to this and maybe take notes. And then in your own time, you can do a little bit of research, or you can contact me from anywhere in the world. You can contact me through Messenger or other means. If you want my email address, no problem, I can give it to you through Messenger, or by telephone even. I actually do have free international calls, so I can call anybody. And of course, it's easier for you, for those of you that are in Australia too. So please feel free to call me and get clarification or elaboration on these subjects. But also in your own time, I think it's really important for it to be motivated. Look on the internet, look in books, ask other teachers. So have a look into these things. And as we go along with these classes, like I said, we'll go into more detail. My goal is to help you to understand your mind better. The more we understand all of these details, the more that we won't cling to them. And the more that we can purify the unwholesome thoughts and the unwholesome states of mind, the more we will engage with the wholesome. As we engage with the wholesome, the mind becomes more open. We have less remorseful feelings that cloud the mind, for instance. And therefore we can practice the meditation more and more and more, and traverse through these different levels of absorptions and of profoundly deep states of consciousness on our path to enlightenment. So I've just saw the notification up there that we've got 1 minute left. And last week I said I wasn't going to be cut off, but I was about 7 seconds. So we are going to start very soon the second class, okay? I'll talk to Leisha, who's the host, of these Zoom meetings, and then we'll start that second class. We may alter the time, pull this one forward half an hour, so that we don't go too late for the Australians into dinner time. But right now, I'd just like to wish you all the best. Keep practicing. Hear the Dharma, study the Dharma well. Contemplate, analyze, investigate the Dharma well, and share it with others well.